this thing is amazing. I mean, I've never had green tea like it.
Yeah,
This,
nice.
yeah, I love it. It has changed my perspective on green tea a
Yeah.
whole lot.
Oh, nice, nice. Where did you get your green tea before? Just like a normal kind of store around the corner, or
So,
supermarket? Or?
depends. So, um, uh, when I first got my real serious, loose leaf green tea, I got it from Tivana a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to live in Rochester, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And there's a gentleman there who has a store called Mandala Tea. And he had a very small operation, but he has really, really good loose leaf tea.
Mhm.
And that's where we got our last jasmine pearls. We got them from him.
Okay, but you didn't have any kind of Japanese green tea or anything else, no?
Um, so um, so it's been like we've been discovering bits by bits, and this is my first real uh like exposure to something other than yokuro or matcha. So all of a sudden, I go on the Neo T's website, and I'm like, "What is all this?" Wait, let me silence my phone. Um, where did all these green teas come from? I know there's jasmine tea, there's oolong, and then
Uh-huh.
all different kinds of tea,
Yeah.
but I have never seen tea this bright green. And the taste and the cold brew brings out so many different flavors,
Mhm.
and it's just a completely different experience. So I when I first tried to get this one, which
Yeah.
was the one coming up on my Instagram
Uh-huh.
constantly, I'm like, I
Yeah.
need it. I need it. It was sold out, so I had to wait. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait for that one. I'm gonna wait for that one.
Yeah, yeah, we had definitely some struggles on the restocking. Now I think everything is good, and the restocking problems are over. But we had some during COVID was there was a certain amount of time where we knew like, okay, we have this amount of tea, but we have no idea when the next one is really gonna arrive. So
No, and then the shipping around the world being such a hassle, and
Mhm.
tea being such a
Exactly.
delicate thing,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah. It was quite a journey now the last 3 months for us. That's sure, but it's great. So you got you. That's how you heard about us. So you saw our ad, and then you were like, okay, I've never seen a
Yeah,
green tea that green, so I have to try it.
and I also found out that I was brewing my yokuro wrong. So
Hmm.
I was steeping my yokuro around 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was burning a little bit,
Yeah.
and I still have like a pound and a half because we bought like 2 pounds of yokuro before. Uh, there was the one of the last Tivana stores in Iowa was gonna
Hmm.
close about 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago,
Oh wow.
and they were just getting rid of the stock, and we bought it really really cheap, but it was Yokuro Imperial.
Oh nice. Yeah. Yeah. That was.
So we have like a pound and a half of Yokuro, and I'm like, I'm really glad we found out we were steeping it wrong now, because we would have burned all this tea.
Okay, 160 Fahrenheit is still okay, I guess, but the best temperature for us is really 140, and that's what the farmers also
Yeah.
saying, yeah, that they
No, and the
really
color
keep
the
it like
color agrees with the temperature. If you do 140 degrees, you get a
Mhm.
much bright greener color, and and
Mhm.
and the aftertaste is always very different.
Yeah, yeah, it's much sweeter. Huh? It's crazy how it changes also when you change the temperature and you just go a little bit lower, how much sweeter the tea gets, and that's often when we get like feedback. Also, just the other day, had somebody writing me, "Wow, you said in your ad that the tea was had a kind of a sweet, kind of sweet notes, but it's super bitter." And I was like, "Okay, where were you brewing it?" "Yeah, I was brewing it at 212 Fahrenheit." It's like, okay, maybe we should change the
No,
temperature a little bit. So that's the nice thing,
man.
when we kind of explain the tea as well, because often we just don't know. And it was the same for me, when I started my green tea journey, and I started to discover tea. It's also you just do it how you do it, and finally we are really we are kind of bringing the water to the maximum temperature, and then we just use it. That's how we learn it. And then as soon as you find out that as soon as you go down with the temperature and there's this sweetness, this complexity also coming with the tastes, changing completely the perspective of the tea.
And some people also, do you know that some people have the belief that green tea has to be hot and that you have to drink it right away because if
Mm-hmm.
not, you won't get the full benefits. You're drinking piping, almost boiling tea
Mm-hmm.
really quickly,
Yeah,
and it's burnt tea. Like, come
yeah.
on. Yeah, it's good that you have all these um really good details in the store. I mean, it's not even every time you present a tea, you have all these details, which is
Mm-hmm.
I find that it's not only useful, it's amazing because you're doing a service before you've even sold tea. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty
No, it's
awesome.
yeah, that's what we. It's kind of tea is complex, and people when they get into tea, they're in the beginning you seem to be a little bit overwhelmed by how to brew it, and you do it wrong or you're afraid of doing it wrong. And I was just talking the other day with Sarah about this in our last talk. Is that people often they don't go into the world of tea because they're like, oh no, I don't know how to brew it, and it seems so complex. But if you just do it, it's super simple. It's like the cold brew you do, you just pour the leaves, you add the water, you wait, and that's it. And then it's super fine. So it's super easy to do. But often when you see like, oh, you need this tea, the teapot, the special teapot, and then what do I have to do now? And finally, it's not very different of a tea bag because you just pour the leaves in the water and then you pour it in your glass. That's it. But often it's like this first
Yeah,
step, and that's what we try to do also is to also with the videos and the explanations and just finally we always tell the same things, but it's how maybe in the one angle or the other angles it refers to more people or people like it better one or the other way. Like you say, okay, cold brew is now my thing, and then this is great. Now we're winter time, normally you don't cold brew, but if somebody likes really a cold brew or a cold for refreshing green tea, then that's the way to do. And that's what we try.
yeah,
What we try.
definitely. Oh,
Yeah,
and I still drink my tea hot while I'm
yeah,
singing.
yeah.
I still steep my tea hot while I sing because it's much better to have hot tea when you're singing. But
Is it good for the
if
voice
I'm
or what is it?
sitting,
Is it good for the voice?
yeah, I mean some teas are better for the voice, and it's better to be low in astringency, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because it coats less, and all it does is
Okay.
like just
Yeah.
cleanse more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have many problems with things inhibiting my voice from I know people that can't even drink water while they sing because they're like, oh, it'll it'll cool off, and I can't do it. And I don't, fortunately I don't have that problem, so I could drink my tea cold if I wanted to, but I still have to have I still like to have something warm while I sing.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first started, when my wife and I, my wife is, she's the one who got me into tea. um
It's always the
she
girls.
was, yeah, I mean, and it was because she found this fancy tea
Yeah.
store in
Yeah.
Seattle,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, oh, I found this tea and it had
Mm-hmm.
passion fruit and stuff, and I want you to try it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I tried it, we liked it, we bought, the loose leaves, because they're, if you want to have real tea, you need, something fresh. And if you're going to prepare bags, it's better if you're preparing yourself or have somebody who knows how to prepare them. So, oh, there she is. um then she brought it back. At this point we were still living in Puerto Rico, so we're from Puerto Rico.
Ah, originally you're from there.
Yeah, we live in the Midwest because she's an immunologist and she moved us up here with her science and everything. So that summer of 2011 was the first time we started really experimenting with tea. Then we we do a cruise vacation every year, and they would do high tea every day.
Mhm.
So we would go to high tea and we learned about black tea. But then I like green tea. I just really like green tea. The first time I tried it, even the really really cheap one, I was like, this is more my type of tea. I mean, I still enjoy black tea with cream and sugar,
Mhm.
but green tea is my thing. It's more my flavor, and I was like, I would really like to, try some really good green tea. And maybe like a year, around 2013, we got our first matcha, which was far from the best, and
Hmm.
it took me a little bit to get it. And then once I got it, it was a wow. Sorry, my dog is
No
going
worries, go for
crazy. She just got back from her walk, so she probably wants to be fed. Um, so we got that first batch of a little can of matcha, which I heard you talking about yesterday about the culinary grade matcha and like actual good matcha.
it.
I have not had first batch matcha yet in my life. That's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
that's my next goal. That's my next goal. This one was all right, but after a couple of weeks, I noticed it started turning brownish, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is no. So unless it was very new, that it came like super bright,
Yeah.
it wasn't really all that bright when I compared it to other, other really good matcha quality.
Mm.
Then we started experimenting with Yokuro, but then um, she wanted to experiment with other types of black tea as well. So we've been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We've enjoyed tea all these years. We went to, as part of our honeymoon, we went to high tea at the Ritz in London.
Oh, nice.
That was one of the things that she really wanted to do.
But
So
what did you
when
have,
we,
like this different, this like all these desserts on one this
oh
plate?
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, we
everything.
had the
Yeah,
the whole the whole thing, the whole thing. It was
yeah.
fancy
Great.
tea, pinky up,
Explain it a little
the
bit in detail, maybe for people watching after. There, it's
okay,
super interesting to see
okay,
what it
so
actually is because it's a nice tradition.
so that was our first real high tea experience, because the ones before we got
Hmm.
in our cruise, basically they just have general seating and they bring things one by one, and you choose what you want. And high tea, there's a menu, you choose your tea, but the menu is, one or two options. You get either savory or sweet and savory. You either
Hmm.
get finger sandwiches and desserts, or you get a quiche. And
Hmm.
so there are three tiers, of course. And you had the tier with the quiche and the sandwiches. You had the one with the cakes, and one with the real dessert, which is more like I think it's a dome,
Hmm.
which is more of a pastry with a cake with a dome of glazed, either it could be a semifredo, or it could
Yeah,
be a cream, or natilla, which is more like a custard.
yeah, but sweet.
And yeah, oh yeah, sweet,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And they keep refilling it as long as you're sitting. So you can get an hour slot, or you can get 2 hours. We got 2 hours because we were just coming in from Heathrow, and we got to our hotel, we got dressed up, and we got directly we got
The
a
first thing on
text.
the bucket list.
First thing, so
Yeah.
hey, what are we doing today? We're going to high tea. And I'm like, what? So we went, and it's a huge hall in the lobby of the hotel. They have a pianist, and everybody's white gloves. You
Mm.
sit down, your napkin, and you have two people attending to you, one that serves you your tea, and one that keeps refilling your trays. Now, the person serving your tea, you don't serve your tea ever. they
Mm.
they they put the strainer on your cup, they refill your cup, take the strainer out, and take the tea back. Then you add cream and sugar if you like. They have the sugar cubes. They have brown sugar and white sugar. It all
Yeah.
depends on which one you prefer.
Hmm.
And as soon as you put your tea strainer back on your uh,
On your
on your
cup.
cup,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
comes back and refill your tea, and it's it's a majestic experience. I mean, it's something that if you ever want to experience what people refer to as a tea party,
Hmm.
I suggest you do it. It's not the only place in the world to do it. There are hotels around the world who do it. There are
Hmm.
tea shops who that do this all the time.
Hmm.
Very affordable. It doesn't have to be very high end,
Mm.
and you will still get a quiche. You will still get some sandwiches. And
Yeah.
I had an orange and passion fruit tea that I had never ever imagined in my life. And my wife had the London fog. I
Yeah.
had the because surprisingly, I mean, well, of course, they would have a tea menu that's like almost exclusive,
Mm.
but they do have a lot of tropical flavors as well. And but I did not see a green tea that caught my eye though. That's something that I did look for. If it's like, did you have any green teas? They did have a couple of them, but it's like, oh, just regular jasmine green tea and maybe
Mhm.
a variation. But that one with like, I think it's blood orange and passion fruit. I'm saying I'm gonna go for that one.
Mhm. Or was it a black tea? Or this was a green tea, the passion fruit tea?
No, it was just a fruit
Fruit
tea,
tea. Ah,
just
herbal
fruit
infusion.
tea,
Also kind
just a
of.
herbal infusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we did that, and we were there for 2 hours, and then we just went back to the hotel and took a nap for about 5 hours. It was
Yeah, you came there completely with a real jet lag, and then you go directly to
oh
IT. Yeah.
man, no, I mean, I fell asleep in my suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got up the next day and like, okay, now we can start fresh.
Yeah. And how did you like the experience? Was it your first time in Europe, or have you been
Yes.
already times
No,
before?
it was my first time in Europe.
Okay.
My wife had already been there with her parents, not in London per se, but and we were only in London for 3 days. Then we went to Norway for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and then around the Baltic states and Scandinavia for another 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Ah, so a
So
long
yeah,
trip then. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we planned it for about 3 years, and my
Oh
wife did not.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, and my wife did not take a sick day, did not take a personal day for a really long time. Did special favors in her laboratory. Like I would stay this Saturday and this Sunday if you trade me one of your days, and her boss was extremely generous
Yeah.
with her time, and we pulled it off.
Oh
Bit by
wow.
bit,
Nice.
we were in Europe for 31 days.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
amazing, and
it's a long trip, but a
I,
nice.
I mean, I think that if you're going to go to Europe and you're going
Yeah.
to spend, some time over there and get to know the
Mm,
culture, getting to know
yeah,
the culinary arts and everything, it can't be done in a week.
yeah. No,
No,
it's
it
impossible. It's
cannot be
like
done
you
in a week.
visiting the US in a week is impossible either.
I mean, and still, I have to go back to Europe as soon as I'm allowed, and it's feasible, and then there's protections in place. I'm
Mm,
going back to Europe and exploring everything I can because it just leaves you hungry for more,
yeah.
and it was amazing. So, Oliver, where are you from? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm Swiss, so I'm sitting here in
Nice.
Switzerland now in a hotel. Yeah,
That's amazing. I've never seen that. I've never been to Switzerland, and I would
yeah,
love to.
yeah. You're more than welcome to come. So, if you ever hop again into an airplane and come to Europe, then also pass by in Switzerland, and we're gonna have
Thank you.
a cup of tea together and talk.
Oh, I'll bring
With
my
pleasure.
guitar too. I'll bring my guitar and we'll play some music and have some tea.
Oh, yeah, with pleasure. Done deal.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
man.
when you went to Eastern Europe get a little bit of the because they have quite a deep tea culture there. Did you experience a little bit of the tea culture of the Baltic states and the region
So
there?
we did have some tea in Estonia,
Hmm.
and it was a different experience because we sat down and I had a rabbit burger, which
Very good.
I love rabbit meat. It's
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
yeah, man. Rabbit stew or fried rabbit with like fried breadfruit and stuff like that. That's like very Puerto Rican thing to do.
Hmm.
And so I sat down and I looked at this menu, and they did have really good tea, but we had cold brewed iced tea there. It was
Yeah.
it was black tea, of course, but it was also like fruit and herbally infused as well. It was like
Oh well, yeah. Kind of a
I think it
blend.
was blackberry. I don't remember if it's blackberry and it was another fruit. I don't remember which one. It was a blackberry infused black tea, and I had that with my burger, and it was amazing. And it was just at Estonia, hands down, from the places that we went, walking around and just finding a place like I would like to go to this place and eat, because you go to Brussels, you're just gonna go for the sweets.
Yeah, yeah.
You see the
Sweet
sweet shops, and
potential.
you're like, man, I want to get all of these, man. I want to get a waffle, and oh my
Yeah,
god.
exactly.
And you're walking 10 seconds and you see another one, and you're just like, but I want those chocolates as well, and I want that as
Yeah.
well. But the only place that we sat down to actually have a meal and for like a lunch, a quick lunch,
Mhm.
what they would call a
Mhm.
quick lunch,
Yeah.
had this incredible rabbit burger and some
Mm.
really refreshing iced tea.
Mm.
Other than that, we did have tea every day on the cruise, but fortunately, they either if you go to high tea, they might have good tea,
Mm.
but other than that, it's just
Mm.
tea bags that with the toasted stuff.
Mhm.
It's
It's so
not.
surprising actually that I don't know. Maybe in coffee, maybe I'm because I'm not a big coffee guy, but I think coffee you always get there's a certain quality always somehow present wherever you go. Small store, I don't know, at the train station or whatever. You can always get a little bit of good coffee, but with tea, it's very, very difficult.
So going back to my heritage, being Puerto Rican means that I really like really strong coffee.
Hmm.
We like really, really dark roast, and it
Hmm.
has to be pitch black before you put
Hmm.
anything in. If you see the bottom of it,
Ah, yeah,
if you see the bottom of your cup, no, you have to do it again. You did it wrong.
yeah. Yeah.
and surprisingly, the best coffee that I had in the entirety of Europe was in Norway. So
Yeah.
per capita, Norwegians drink more coffee than anybody else in the world.
Hmm.
It was just it was astonishing because I'm like, oh, well, we drink coffee with everything, and then they're like, yeah, we do too, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
really? And it was really good coffee too, man.
Yeah,
Really, really
I
good.
was once in Oslo, in the capital of Norway, and I didn't realize that there was such a huge coffee culture. Yeah. Ah, okay, nice to know. I knew that Vienna, so Austria has a huge coffee culture, and
Mhm.
they're super famous as well. Also, they sometimes apparently when you go to Italy, you find even from roasteries from Austria coffee. So,
Oh wow.
so apparently they're super known. But I didn't know about Norway. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have never imagined that.
Mhm.
I would imagine anything else before coffee. But and apparently they're very into tacos as well.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, Mexican food is very on the rise in Europe as well.
right?
Well,
I'm
Mexican
like
kind of
what
the
am I?
Tex-Mex food. It's not
I'm
real
like
Mexican food, I think.
I'm like, what? You guys big on Taco Tuesday as well?
Yeah. That's true. This I remember. There are quite some Tex-Mex kind of takeaways up there. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I'm actually a partner of a coffee company in
Mhm.
Minnesota called
Mhm.
Fiddlehead
Yeah.
Coffee Company.
Hmm.
And if I ever move to a Scandinavian country, I would love to take Fiddlehead over there because I think they would love the coffee.
Yeah.
They would love the coffee,
You still drink
man.
coffee yourself?
Yeah, I do. I do. It's just it can't be any coffee. It's just like tea now. It has.
Yeah. Once you start, you getting spoiled, and then you're like, you no.
Oh
I
man,
also,
it's like people here drink gas station coffee
oh,
like
okay,
crazy,
that's
like,
yeah, yeah.
and they love it. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I got a 32 ounce, and I'm like, dude, that 32 ounce, you can drink those 32 ounces, and it doesn't match these 4 ounces of
Yeah,
espresso.
yeah.
It's the quality really, really matters, man. It
Mhm.
really, really matters.
Yeah, if you start once into the kind of appreciating the quality, once you get hooked, you're like, especially it's like here in Europe, we have a little bit of a different coffee culture because in the US at the gas station, you always have these big jars. This is something we don't have here in Europe. So we
No, you don't need
also
that.
have
You don't need
bigger
that.
jars, but it was just a complete different coffee experience. I remember when I was in I had a friend, he was studying in Pensacola, and I visited him. And then we went on a road trip, and then we went in a gas station, and then there was the mug and everything, and I was like, okay, I have to have this coffee now, just out of the experience. But it's super different because it is super liquid, and you see the bottom as you described, because it's just not that strong. Yeah.
No, no, at all, at all. It probably took you to a Wawa station or something, right? And
Yeah,
then they have
yeah,
like six different pots, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, this is decaf, this is hazelnut, whatever.
yeah,
But even as you're pouring, you can see right through the stream. You're like,
exactly. Yeah.
it's like, no, this is not coffee, man. This
Do you
is
ever
not.
take? Do you still take it sometimes if you're like very tired and you say, "Okay, I need a coffee," and the only thing is I get is this, or you just say, "No, no way."
No, no. I rather buy one of those prepared mocha cold brew things. I'm like, okay, at least this will taste like sugar, you know.
Okay,
But
okay, clear.
no, 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 no.
But let us get a little bit in the music thing. So, you I guess you started out as a young lad, and then you started just to do music, or how did you learn it in kind of your family? Was it kind of everybody was playing an instrument and you then were playing the guitar, or
Well,
how did it start out?
not at all. I was 9 years old and I found a guitar at my grandma's house.
Yeah,
A guitar that I had never seen anybody play a guitar in my life, in my family.
yeah.
He's like, that's your father's. You got to ask him if you can. And I'm like, I've never seen my dad play guitar ever. And he didn't play, he just knew a
Uh-huh.
couple of chords, but he didn't play at all. He played clarinet in school when he was
Mm-hmm.
little.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him if I could borrow it, and I still have it. you
Until now, yeah.
know? He's like, yeah, you can borrow it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I still have it in my room.
Oh, nice.
And I just started playing, and I really wanted to hear myself play songs that I really, really loved. And I started, well, of course, rock and roll and metal, and
Mm-hmm.
then bit by bit, I did, your musical taste, expand a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I ended up, just learning from my friends, and we would swap chords and songs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I started playing public shows when I was about 14,
Mm-hmm. Oh wow,
with a couple of friends of mine, and started gigging when I was 14. When I was 21, I went to school for music. And that was already 3 years deep into a literature program. Because, of course, your parents tell you, you need to do
yeah.
something,
Real, yeah.
something real and whatnot. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm good at English, so I'll study English, of course. I don't know, study English literature. I love to read, so
Yeah.
Tolkien and Edgar Allan
Yeah.
Poe and all other my
Oh wow,
you
yeah.
know all that stuff. But and I played D&D my entire life, and I really like to read, so I didn't mind reading
Mhm.
and writing papers for college.
Mhm.
So, but been playing guitar for a living since I was 14. I was like, what am I doing? I need to be studying this. So I just switched. I studied classical music,
Yeah.
and then things just started panning out.
Did you just like when you started at 9, was it kind of self, how do you say that?
Yeah,
Autodidactive, and you
yeah,
just
yeah.
started on your own, learned it by on your own?
Yeah, I have a couple of buddies that were learning too,
Mm-hmm.
and they taught me a couple of chords. And it was the Arias brothers at down my street, Tito and Juan Carlos. They taught me the first chords I ever knew, and the first songs I ever learned.
Yeah.
And we just kind of swapped ideas. I'm like, oh, you know how to get that crunchy sound? Yeah, you got to put your hand right here, and
Oh, nice. Yeah.
that and then you start to learn how things
Mhm.
are called and things. And my brother started playing drums when he was 5. I was 9 and he was 5. I needed a drummer, so
Here
my brother
for
was
you.
in like, here, you're gonna be the drummer. And he's like, okay. No, so now he's a professional touring drummer. So
Oh, really nice,
yeah.
nice.
Now I have many siblings, and I have 6 siblings actually. I have a
Oh
sister
wow, yeah.
and 5 brothers, and at least
Mhm.
3 of my other brothers play a little bit of guitar,
Mhm.
just a little bit, just when we were teenagers. They're like, I want to learn how to play a song,
Yeah.
and they got into a little bit into it. My brother Manuel got really, really into the recording part, and he still has a couple of things, but he's a chemist actually. So
I really nice. So you went all different directions, and you're 2 musicians now out of the 6.
yeah, yeah, it's
What?
got Bruno and me are touring musicians. Well, right now we're stay-at-home musicians, but
Yeah, yeah.
touring musicians, I have my sister is a geologist and a ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only
And a
sister I
ballerina.
have.
So
Yeah, I
she's
only have
also
one. I
dancing.
only have one sister. The other five are brothers.
Yeah.
Emilio also learned how to play guitar, but he's an agronomist. My brother Armando is a software developer.
Mhm.
My other brother Jorge is a district attorney. So everybody's
Oh,
different.
yeah.
Everybody is different.
Everybody
Everybody's different.
another
Everybody
way.
had.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you were kind of this whole music thing you developed. So you said, okay, 2013 was your last gig. So was it kind of, I don't like it, so I do something different, or how did
I'm
you get
sorry.
into? Because you said before that you don't do gigs anymore since 2013. So
Oh
you
no no no
actually,
no! I don't do gigs since March 13 this year.
okay, good.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was my leg because of the
Okay.
pandemic. No, no, no,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
no,
okay,
no, no,
2013. Okay, so I
no,
misunderstood.
no, 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 no. Don't worry, don't worry.
No.
So
Okay.
I stopped gigging because of the pandemic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
I do more than 300 shows a year, all around the
wow.
United States,
Yeah.
and I leave home Wednesday morning and I come
Mhm.
back
Mhm.
Sunday morning. So and it's completely normal. My wife is an immunologist. She's a scientist in a lab, sometimes 12, 13 hours a day in the lab.
Yeah.
So we have similar
Work
patterns.
hours stronger, yeah. But so
Yeah.
you're traveling around the whole country.
Yeah. I mean, mostly in
Yeah.
the Midwest now, but I've played all around. I played in DC. I played when she was in Washington. I played gigs over there.
Mhm.
It just depends on. I like to say that I can work anywhere because
Mhm.
my 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 way of working is flexible. Not like hers. She has to follow the
Mhm.
science.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I'm starting to write a proposal to see if I can get some gigs here in Missouri where I'm living at right now because I moved from
Mhm.
Minnesota to Iowa, Iowa to Missouri, and I've
Yeah.
never played. I've only played one show in Missouri, and it was 2 weeks ago, and it was here for the people for the tenants here and the
Yeah.
place where I live, and they had kind of a tenant party and they have an open field and I just played there for them, and there's this older gentleman came up and approached me and he says, I like your music, and there's a couple of venues who would be lucky to have you, but right now still not safe, especially here in the United States when people are very divided in opinions, and
Mhm.
when science for me is not an opinion.
Yeah.
I live with a scientist. Science for me is not an opinion. It's a
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, well, what is the situation now at the moment in the US? Do you start to go out more, or is it like is it more restrictive now
Um, so
again?
the political situation makes it a little bit difficult for everybody to get on the same page,
Uh,
and it's a shame because this has nothing to do with politics, and people
mhm.
make it about politics,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. Being almost election time and everything, and all sorts of stories and agendas being pushed through.
Mhm.
Um, I don't go out if I don't have a mask on. And me having the beard, I need to put a surgical mask on first and then my NK95 on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
most people here in Missouri, at least, is mandated for you to cover your face.
Yeah.
But people still see it as a choice, man. When you're trying to be safe for you and them,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't understand it, and I understand that it comes from a place of maybe misinformation and whatnot, but I'm
Yeah.
scared to go out and play at a public gig
Yeah.
because I might come back and give something to my wife, and my wife might give it to other scientists, and then it's and
Yeah.
right now it's just I'm gonna let it play out,
Mhm.
and until they come up with either a treatment or a very well backed by science vaccine, nothing is
Yeah.
going to change.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm curious to see because they're now starting to talk about that we got the autoimmunity of the body starts to adapt to the COVID virus, and that's super interesting. It's just now slowly coming out. So I'm very curious to see if we as a human being can adapt to the virus and then fight it off. That's
that
just
would
we
be
know that it kind of goes down on a level of influenza or whatever.
yeah.
So it could be that's I'm curious to see how it evolves because finally it might even be that we don't even need a vaccine because our bodies adapt to the new circumstance.
So the thing about COVID and I can't really
Mm,
go into deep explanations because I don't really know a whole
mm,
lot about the
mm,
process of how it
mm,
works. It is a virus that replicates very, very fast
mm,
and it adapts very, very fast to its environment. That's why the science has changed so much in so little time. For example, back in January and February, scientists thought that you had to get it from an animal, not person to person. But COVID adapted really quick and now it passes from person to person.
mm,
We're really scared
yeah,
that it'll adapt and it'll go airborne,
yeah.
and if we don't get at least either because a lot how do I explain this? If you get a if I'll try to translate it in my head so I don't say it wrong. um so when people get infected with COVID, it all depends on how much exposure you get to it.
Mm,
That's why young healthy doctors that get
mm,
infected die because they get infected by people who are really really infected with it. So it
mhm,
depends on the exposure that you have with it.
mm,
I have a really really good friend who lost his mom to COVID
mm,
and he almost died because they had exposure to a heavy amount of the virus that just
mm,
replicated
mhm.
quickly. So
No,
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I sit down with my wife and I'm like, okay, explain this to me.
yeah.
It's like, well,
Let's
this
have
is
a
what's
cup
going
of tea and let's talk about it.
on. Oh yeah, yeah. It's like explain this to me, and and
Yeah.
and if she gets too technical, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Mm,
slow down, slow down. But yeah, somebody who has
mm,
had COVID and survived it
mm,
might have something to offer science about how we can adapt to it and
mm,
how we can react to it if you get reinfected, for example. And if you
mm,
can get reinfected, because everybody's different. That's the thing. If
mm,
you're immunocompromised or if somebody else is a little bit stronger in the immune
mm,
system, how would they react to a second
mm,
infection?
mm.
So yeah, I'm still learning so much science, man. So much. When we started dating, I actually sat in another basic biology course just because I didn't have any biology classes in like 10 years. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit in a basic biology course so I can keep up. And
Yeah.
I sat in a basic biology course, college level biology course for about
Mhm.
3 months. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I got my prime. I'm good.
So you could talk with her on the basic stuff at least.
At
Yeah.
least not be completely lost. But
What is it for you in your couple? Because she's more in a really kind of an exact scientific field. You're more in a kind of in a creative field. Is it kind of nurturing one is nurturing the other, or
yeah, yeah, but she's also an artist. She likes to create. She likes to paint.
hmm
She has illustrated a couple of children's books.
hmm
So she understands
Nice.
more my side than I understand hers.
Yeah.
But she can play guitar, but she can't sing. So
So sometimes she plays the guitar and you sing.
it's a little bit of balance. Oh no, 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 no. She does. She lets me do all the guitar playing. At least she enjoys what I do, which is very important. And
That's
she's very,
very
very,
important.
very supportive.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not
Yeah.
easy because often when you say musician, so shouldn't you have a stable income? And now, especially now, it's kind of, it's, I think
Oh yeah.
there's some super insecurity around where you don't know exactly what to do. Or how
Man,
do you kind of readapt to the new normal for you?
I mean, even if you have built your entire career, because I have what I think is a very solid musician's career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regular gigs, six
Mm.
to eight gigs a week.
Oh,
I
that's
I
nice.
I very stable business. Not immune to what might happen. Of course, this the whole COVID
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
I am fortunate that I'm a what I a socially responsible musician, filed my taxes correctly and everything. That I was able to collect unemployment for the first time in my life because
Yeah,
I've paid taxes every time.
yeah,
But still, it's very very hard to live off unemployment. I mean, I can't wait until there's at least a solution so
yeah,
I can get back to doing it because
yeah,
it's been tough, man. It's been
yeah.
tough.
Yeah, because you're mainly at home. But were you doing some kind of live sessions
Oh
uh,
yeah, I play live every day. I
every
go live
day?
every day, every single day from 4 to 6 central,
Yeah,
and I made it a habit so I don't lose what I do.
yeah. Okay,
Keeps me sane as well.
that's
So
I don't believe you. Yeah,
it's very very important to keep myself in a situation where I still do what I do. I
yeah.
enjoy what I do. I don't see it as a job all the time. I do have to treat it as a business because I have to present myself as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
but I it still has to put a smile on my face. If not, it's very difficult to do if you're not happy with it.
So you have kind of you play every day, kind of different songs. So you say like on Tuesday I play this, Wednesday I play this kind,
Oh,
Thursday. How do you do
we
it?
do themes. We do themes.
Yeah,
Tuesday could be two for Tuesday. Two from each artist.
yeah,
I do TV and movies. We do grunge days. We do
yeah,
80s. We do
yeah.
90s. It all depends on the audience as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten really good at reading chats while I'm playing
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to pick up on little reactions from people, even though I don't see them.
Yeah.
That the way they chat, the way they interact with me, I'm like, okay, you want to listen to this? I know that this is not your first time here. Thank you for coming back. I know you like this song and this song.
Mhm.
I've had regulars in my show every single day, and I
Yeah.
actually started streaming before COVID
Oh, nice. Yeah.
in August 2019,
Mm-hmm.
just to do something different. And when I was home, something my wife still has to go to the lab, so I had free hours. I would make my YouTube videos, but then I have all my microphones in place and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
and it I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. And I started streaming 1 or 2 days a week, just like,
Yeah.
oh, let's do a show. I call it Chillsville. That's why
Yeah. Chillsville.
the
Nice.
Chillsville is my studio.
Established 2019. Nice.
Yeah. And that was actually an idea from a friend of mine. His name is Jason.
Mm-hmm.
He called it, this place is Chillsville. I'm like, you know what? That's going to be the name of the show.
Nice.
And it doesn't belong to me, man. It belongs to the people who come to my show.
Yeah.
And they come to my show to feel a little bit of normalcy within the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had people since day one that just enjoy music so much,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to find a way to be comfortable at their homes and be able to get their music that they love
Mm-hmm.
and still interact with artists.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an incredible thing. I am very lucky to be able to have picked up the whole streaming thing before this whole thing happened,
Mm-hmm.
because I understood a little bit more about the importance of just the show must go on one way or another. And I'm reaching people all across the world
Yeah.
every single day, just being there.
Yeah.
And before I forget, we were talking about high tea earlier. My wife is actually making. That's why I was a little bit late today, and I would have been here a little bit earlier, but I'm helping her do a couple of things because
Oh,
it
okay.
was my birthday a week ago,
Oh, nice.
and she always does high tea for special occasions like our anniversary, my birthday, her birthday. We just do something something together that we really really enjoy. So that's what we're doing today. So actually, after my show today, we're gonna have high tea here at home.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So you're gonna start with your show soon, or
In about 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super. I think it's like it's all the critiques which come also with social media and everything. you have certain downsides of it, but I think an upside of all our new world, the digital world, is really the access. That you
Yeah.
can really allow, or you give people the chance who maybe can never watch a concert or can go anywhere because they're just living far off. They don't have the possibilities financially or geographically to
Yeah.
see something. And then they can just live share the moment with you. And I think this is amazing. And
Yeah.
I also am a big fan of kind of live sessions. Also, when I go on Instagram, yesterday you joined shortly for the live session. I just like it because it gives some kind of yeah, we can sit there and just react directly to what we want to know or
Yeah.
things we want to
Yeah.
talk about. So I think it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're all having a conversation across the world.
Mhm.
We're in the same place. I mean, we're not geographically, we're not, but we're virtually in the same place having a conversation about something we love, we're passionate about.
Mhm.
It's amazing. And
Yeah.
a lot of social media critiques are about, people not agreeing on politics or stuff like that, or
Yeah.
having a fight with their cousin on Facebook. And I mean,
Yeah.
but if you treat it
Yeah.
like somewhere you can go and find people who are passionate about something you
Yeah.
are passionate about, you
Yeah.
will have a great time. And it's an incredible way to stay in contact with everyone.
Yeah. That's true. And also to get to know new people like I do it now with you. So I highly
Mm,
appreciate it. So it's
it's
just great, you
amazing.
know,
This is
just talk a little
amazing.
bit and then let's share. Let's tell me a little bit about your life and then you tell me things about being a musician I never knew because I'm far away of being a musician.
So
So
yesterday I got to hear about how you got into tea, and
yeah,
because a lot of people started asking questions. I'm like, yeah, yeah, let's hear about this. And it's amazing how you can just connect with someone
yeah,
who hundreds of thousands of miles away. It's like
yeah, yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And
It's
this is
awesome.
yeah, that's the amazing thing. And then you can just wherever you want to go, or if you want to go somewhere and you can tell me, yeah, I've been there. So, okay, tell me now. You have done high tea in London. So next time I go to England, I have to try to. Because I was kind of learning about it 2 or 3 months ago because I'm really focused strongly on the Japanese green tea and all the
Oh
tea
yeah.
different. So I'm a little bit narrow in my learning at the moment, so I'm always super interested as soon as kind of get a feeling of something, and people like you now telling me about the experience of high tea, and it's cool. The culture is really cool, and I think I highly appreciate the English culture for this because they were mostly the only ones who were really spreading the culture of tea in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clearly, there were economical interests behind it because India and everyone, blah blah blah. But in the end, it's culture and it's something which I really like.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
pieces of culture which we lost a little bit into continental Europe. So there's no real tea culture, I would say. So that's something I really like that this was, or they were able to keep this alive. Yeah,
Dude, Europe is where the history comes from.
yeah,
You know,
mhm,
I love history and I love culture. Every place I go to, I have to connect to culturally, and learn about the history. The art is very, very important. It tells you a lot about what
mhm,
was going on.
mhm.
And tea has been around forever.
Yeah,
And if you're focusing on Japanese tea, man, that's the the most technical music you can ever, get into.
mhm,
Compare it to like progressive rock, like the Rush or Dream Theaters of tea.
yeah,
It's like, I mean, I love black tea and tea time, but
mhm.
it's not a
Not the same.
ceremony.
Yeah,
It's not a ceremony. It is not the respect for the actual tea is not the same.
mhm,
The treatment of the leaves and everything is not going to be the same.
mhm.
There's a lot more going on into this. A
It's
lot
it's
more.
just it's just super different. I think black tea for me is it's very much about the taste, and green tea. There was always also when you talk to Japanese people or to the farmers how they explain it's always there's this part of health and well-being which is always coming with it. Much more with the green tea, in my opinion, or how I live it. than with black tea. Black tea is really taste and
Yeah,
flavor and from different areas. It is always talked about that it is also healthy, but kind of green tea is like, oh, this is healthy. Sometimes I do, I have a small market here in the city where I am on Saturday, and sometimes I just sell on the street with a small table my green teas. That's how I started the whole company.
that's awesome.
And then people they stop and they look. I was like, that's healthy, no? Always like it's green tea. It's healthy. Yeah, I heard about it, and it's really funny. And then you just explain about it, and there's this notion of of health and healthiness and all the benefits which are coming with green tea, which is much stronger than with, for example, black tea.
This
Kind
jelly
of,
bean. This is
uh,
this is beans. She was interested about what we're talking about, but she wouldn't like tea, huh? My baby. So yeah, everybody like at least in Puerto Rico, everybody talks about green tea. So so are you trying to boost your immune system, or you're like,
yeah,
well, if it helps, sure, but I love it. I love the taste.
yeah, yeah,
It's never about the taste or
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
It's more
It's
about,
like,
you're trying to be the most healthy person.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, actually, if you can move it into this direction, then and this is what we try. We try to really find the best tasting green tea in Japan, and then if this then kind of resonates with the taste, or people like the taste, and it's also good for health, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful tea.
Mhm.
It tastes great, and I do feel a lot better drinking this tea than I did drinking my other tea. I mean, green tea does give me
Yeah.
like sustainable energy. You never get
Mhm.
jittery. It's just throughout the day. It's a whole
Mhm.
feeling of just being just well. It makes your day better. I love it. It makes me feel great.
Yeah, it's often kind of a relaxing feeling that tea gives you. That's what I like. It's kind of the amino acids in the tea. They really relax you and they give you kind of this calming sensation. And that's what I like a lot about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And if we're gonna talk about antioxidants and polyphenols and stuff, there's a lot of talk about this. I mean, you're drinking one of the healthiest plants you can drink in your life. But it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, and it's
I love
funny
it.
that there's still so little research about it because finally it's not a pharmaceutical product which you cannot sell for a high margin, but it's just a product, a natural product, and then often the industry is not so interested to do a lot of studies. But I'm sure that there, in the future, there will be much more done about it and research and also discovered.
Yeah, we just gotta get people drinking it, man.
Mhm.
I mean, and I know that maybe the taste is not for everyone. I have one of my best friends. She drinks tea, and she's like, "I drink it for the health benefits. I don't like the taste." But
Yeah,
you're drinking, tea bags from a carton. You never
yeah.
even had proper green tea.
So there's some introduction you can do to her.
Mm. And he's like, no, 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 I'll stick to my decaf. And I'm like, oh, decaf green tea, and you're already taking, one of the really good benefits out of it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've made some really good green tea for some of my brothers. My brother Bruno liked green tea,
yeah. Mhm.
and I made some matcha for them once, and then they
Yeah.
liked it.
Okay,
I
nice.
got a semi decent bowl to whisk my matcha in. I do have my bamboo whisk, so
Yeah,
I did it semi properly. I was still learning, so
yeah.
made my
Well,
paste real good, and then bit by bit, foaming it bit by bit, and turned out. And people were like, "Oh, this isn't bad." And I'm like, "No, it's very good actually."
yeah, yeah. People discovering some they just don't like it. Especially heavy coffee user, they're not convinced in the beginning. They're more going over black tea, and then maybe they move to green tea.
Yeah, and even if they're like really heavy coffee drinkers, they won't go down from that thickness, because
Mm.
if you're a heavy coffee drinker, well, good coffee drinker, the
Mm.
kind that you can't see through, it's for a caffeinated drink, it won't do. And then you have to try for their taste and their pleasure for it.
Mm,
Because they want to get that kick and that I don't like that, man. I drink coffee because I enjoy it.
mm.
I can't drink too much of it because it'll make me jittery and anxious.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
But
it's kind
yeah, I
of a,
don't know.
it's a little bit more of an aggressive effect. Kind of the effect of the caffeine in the coffee is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more nervous for me. That's why I also have a friend. He has a specialty coffee, so a specialty coffee store where he has really high quality coffee. I was able to taste it. It's completely different, you know. It's like when you taste a real good coffee. It's wow. It's like chocolate, and it's
Yeah,
amazing. You know? It's like
and you don't need to drink 32 ounces of
exactly. You only have a small cup, and it's amazing.
it.
And but the thing is, yeah, you really you get more jittery by it, and that's what I personally like also better than with the green tea because it's kind of it gives you this kind of alertness, but it's still very relaxed. Everything's very calm.
Yeah, no, I like to ride, the tea journey. It's I love it, and like I said, if it's gonna be coffee, it's got to be good coffee.
Yeah,
That's why I got behind the fiddlehead idea, and my brother Patrick started the
yeah,
company with
mhm,
his sister-in-law, and their mission is just to make good coffee. It's not about drinking 32 ounces. It's about making really good coffee
yeah,
and in an environment that, that coffee's been very, very well taken care
yeah,
of. And that's why I enjoy this very much, man. Because I know this comes from a very special place. And as soon as I opened that bag, man, I smelled it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing.
it's
This
very
is gonna,
different.
yeah, as soon as I started pouring it, my wife was like, "Wow, wow." Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, happy.
Yeah, yeah, this is amazing. Really, thank you so much for bringing these incredible products to the world because
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you'd had to go to Japan to get something like this,
Hmm.
and know where to go, because
Yeah, yeah,
you can go to Japan and just go to the corner shop and get any green tea,
exactly. Yeah.
but if this is the best cup of green tea I've had in my life, and I'm you know I'm just flat out the best cup of green tea I've had in my life, and it's impressive and it's amazing. Well done, man.
Yes.
Really well done.
Well, we haven't done a lot, but it's just amazing also when you go to the farmers how different it is. You know, like also they have very different quality kind of levels. And well, we are very picky with the teas we bring back, but it's super interesting. You know, you go on farms, and sometimes it's a little bit less special, and sometimes you just discover this tea, and that was exactly like you were when I tried it the first time at the farm. I was like, wow, this is really good tea. Yeah,
It changes you, man. It changes you. It's
yeah,
just like, why would I ever think that this was great when clearly there's something much more superior,
yeah. You know, it's super interesting. Tea is just fascinating because there's so many different flavors. Because with the coffee, it's always on the roaster how he prepares then the beans. But
Yeah.
with the tea, it's really the farmer giving the flavor to the tea, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
super interesting. It's really like it's a little bit like wine. I always say it's like wine without the alcohol. But it's super interesting, and yeah, we are just pushing also the non pesticides tea. You know that we really look for organic teas. So that's our mission because yeah, it's such a pure and natural product. So in our opinion, you don't really need the
Yeah, as
yeah,
soon as I open the second bag, I have to restock because I don't want to run out of this tea.
yeah,
I don't want to run out of this tea, man. This is
yeah.
too good to let go, and I want to try some of the sencha as well.
Yeah. Well, there's actually you can maybe go for the Sencha sampler, and
Okay.
you have 9 different teas, or we have the mega sample, Sencha sample. Then we have the deep steam Sencha sampler, which is 5 of these kind of teas which you're drinking. Like the
Okay.
Yamaga is also in there. but there are four other teas which are the similar kind, and these are the teas. Well, you can go through it and see which one you like the best.
Yeah, man. And then like I said, my yokuro is already tasting better just because of your instructions.
Yeah, oh,
And,
that's
and it's not even your yokuro yet. I can't wait to try yours, man. I know that when I run out of yokuro, I'm like, okay, now it's time to try the real stuff. You know?
yeah. No, no, happy to hear that. Yeah, it's a cool, it's a really, really a cool world, and it's super interesting for us. It connects you also with people, like talks like this one here, where we can just talk about the things we like. It's just amazing. I think the good cup always helps to kind of just reminisce or to meditate or whatever about any topic. It's amazing.
Oh, it opens up the world, man.
Yeah.
It opens up the world. It really, really does.
Do you use it for music, kind of when you're writing or something, or is it just drink that is
I mean,
there?
I drink tea throughout the day.
Mhm.
I mean, if right now I'm almost out, and before my show, I'm gonna fill it back up and have it for my show. Yes, my writing is more sporadic and kind of kind of impulsive. So it
Mhm.
doesn't really happen around. I don't really
Yeah,
plan around writing. But for my show, for my actually sitting down and playing a show, I do include tea.
yeah. Okay, nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So every time I'm here in front of the camera, let me actually send you the link to my show. So if you ever
Yeah,
want to if
pleasure.
you
Yeah,
ever want to join,
yeah.
if you ever
Mhm.
want to join, I'm there every day.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit late for you, but
Well, the first hour I can definitely join.
and
I
if you
will.
have something you'd like to listen to in particular, you let me know.
Okay, I will.
I do have a request list of at least on my sessions portal. I have at least 300 or 500 songs you can choose from, but on my YouTube channel there's
Yeah.
probably over 600 songs you can choose.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, and my show is very relaxed.
Mhm.
Nothing stressed, nothing that I've planned for everyone. I just like to sit down, get to know the people, and what do you
Mhm.
want to listen to today? What do you guys feel like today? Do you guys feel like just running through the show, or
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my internet service provider to send me a tech here on Tuesday. Fortunately, they have been horrible with me this week,
Yeah.
and my choices are not very, there's not a variety of choices in internet service
Yeah.
providers in my area.
Yeah.
So it's been a little, I've been a little bit stressed by that, but still, show must go on, man. We keep going. We keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Then let's take this as an ending note. So thanks a lot, Fernando, for your time and the talk. It was
Oliver,
amazing.
it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for sharing everything, from your tea to your knowledge and just your
Thanks a
general
lot.
kindness, man. Thank you so
Thanks, man.
much.
Thanks, and thanks for your kindness and all the words of appreciation. I highly appreciate it. And well, I hope we talk soon once again
Yeah,
someday. And I'll definitely have a look at your session.
of course, man. If you're ever in Puerto Rico or ever in the Midwestern United States, you let me know, man.
I will. I will. Thanks a lot, man. Then take care and see you. And bye
Hermano,
bye.
have a great day, man.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.